Welcome back to WCA EU Pro Qualifiers. We just had Ties qualify for Gamescom, and now we have a new set of the bracket, which is Lifecoach and Dethelor, followed by Hawkeye and Maverick. So we've got some more games for you coming up. Lifecoach first, and Dethelor. You've met Dethelor. You met him at Gfinity. Tell me about this guy.
Also met him at Team Summer. He's a really nice guy. Greek, a bit loud, friend of Hawkeye's, just a great guy overall. Good player as well, yeah. Really, I casted a few of his games at Gfinity, and even though he didn't go far, I felt like he was one of the better players there. He faced Hawkeye and the guy that won the tournament, so a tough bracket for him there. He's bringing Rogue, Warlock, and Warrior this time around, with Lifecoach bringing the Warrior and the Warlock but the Druid as his third deck. Very Lifecoach-esque, I guess. He's been playing Handlock, Druid, and Patron over and over and over and over again, so to me, the Dethelor lineup looks like it's going to be a counter-Patron lineup. Probably just wants to win with a matchup 3 times. I'll actually not be surprised if it's going to be Control Warrior as well.
Yeah, Lifecoach, sorry. That's if they fuse together into one person, it'd be Defcoach. But Lifecoach, that's completely opposite to Lifecoach as well. Anyway, but Lifecoach, he's got a very predictable lineup, but it's what's worked for him in the past. That's what helped him take all these events. And if you... Dethelor, what interests me about him, not only is he a very ambitious player and a very enthusiastic player, but if he was to win this game and Hawkeye was to win the next game, two friends would have to battle it out for the spot at Gamescom, and that's a bit of a tragedy in itself.
Two teammates as well, yeah, that'd be rough for them. I mean, Fate to Karma has been doing really well recently, actually. They prepare a lot together, kind of similar to what Poach was doing with iHearthU. You had Faramir, Powder, and D2, kind of dominating for a long time when they were practicing together. Did excellent at BlizzCon, won a lot of tournaments, but at least D2 and Faramir have kind of slipped since then. And I don't know, it's interesting to see how Poach does this time around with a new pool of players. 2 of them playing today, actually, both Dethelor and Hawkeye playing now in a row. But looking at the lineups, though, I kind of like Lifecoach's lineup a bit better. I feel like if the Rogue may be in some trouble. I mean, Rogue is generally even against Druid, kind of not that good against Handlock, and then good against Patron though. So,
and Lifecoach, he's been sticking with the same lineups for some time now. Maybe he just doesn't like experimenting. Maybe he feels that this is his strongest way to win. And if you look at his performance this year alone, it's hard to say that he isn't consistent with the decks he sticks with. I mean, he did go through a phase of Paladin, Warlock, Druid. When Paladin started to fall off, you did see that Patron Warrior being replaced in his Paladin. He used to play this really control-heavy, top-end Paladin with Kel'Thuzad and stuff like that, but not really viable in this meta, not as much as Patron, especially how strong it is. And we saw last game how crazy Patron can be when Ties took the series from Savit. But going into this first game, Lifecoach queues up his Druid first, Dethelor bringing that Handlock, very strong deck in this meta game, but also a deck we've seen a lot in this tournament.
About the strongest hand you could possibly ever ask for is now in Dethelor's hand. I mean, Lifecoach doesn't have a bad hand, but there's looking like it's going to be no wild card. There's an Innovate that's decent, but it's just not going to compare. I mean, Dethelor, if he plays the Giants in a row, I don't see how Lifecoach can possibly counter that.
Lifecoach is going to need to find a big game hunter or something. Druids really struggle dealing with these high health minions. They rely... They don't have hard removal. They rely on stuff like Big Game Hunter, which is their form of hard removal. Naturalize not really viable in kind of fast mid-range druids. More of a mill druid thing, but yeah, it's going to be a struggle for Lifecoach to deal with these giants when they start coming onto the field.
I'm kind of confused actually about Lifecoach's pick here in game number 1. I would have thought Warlock would be the strongest one. As you look at Patron, you should be favored against the Patron. You look at the Rogue matchup, you're good against Rogue. Then you have a mirror, and Lifecoach obviously has a lot of confidence in his Handlock, so I feel like he would be very confident in the mirror. So, I mean, Druid isn't going to be bad, but I don't think it's going to be as good as having picked something like the Warlock there.
So Lifecoach gets out that Shredder 2 turns early without Innovate, putting some pressure on the board, but he finds a Dark Bomb straight off the top there.
It's really strong, yeah.
And he has the coin in hand, so playing the Dark Bomb here actually lines up really nicely for him.
Yeah, if you have the coin, you have either turn 2 or turn 3 where you can't tap, so he might as well get that out turn 2 now. I don't see a scenario where he won't go for the Dark Bomb, but a very calculating player in Dethelor, so I think he take his time, even though it's an obvious one, I feel.
And the Shredder drops the Druid card. Nothing we see outside of Arena here. Shitanack's going to come down, so he's curving out nicely here, Lifecoach, but problems are going to start when these giants come down.
Oh yeah. Should be an eventful turn now, probably with a tap. I mean, Hellfire actually wouldn't be bad if he manages to top deck that.
Yeah, Hellfire would be good.
I guess, yeah.
But the tap's pretty obvious here. He can think about the coin Twilight, but he kind of slows himself down there. And these giants are far more important than the Twilight Drake right now. Twilight Drake being very vulnerable to silence. Keep with the Grove. Druid's always pack into them, so doesn't want to open himself up too much. And even if he had a giant big game hunted, you'd have a giant following straight after. So the tap comes down, setting up for those giants next turn.
I think the thing to notice if you are playing a Twilight Drake also, you kind of need to have a hero power to go with the Keeper as a Druid, and we know that Lifecoach has already used his one of his innovates, so it's unlikely that he has both a second innovate and the Keeper in that case here, but goes for the Sweater, and this is looking okay for Lifecoach, even if he picks or something like, let's say, a you know, Savage Roar. This could become very dangerous for... So
Dethelor, we were talking about how Dethelor's giants were going to be a big problem, but Lifecoach has successfully developed a strong board here going into the mid-game. Dethelor does have some options. He has a giant to come down. He might be a bit afraid of Big Game Hunter. He doesn't want the board to swing in Lifecoach's favor too much. But he does have Ancient Watcher, Coin, Shadow Flame, if a Big Game Hunter did come out. So he does have an option for a clear as well. So a lot of things probably going through Dethelor's mind.
I think he realized they can tap and go for Mountain Giant anyway next turn, so I guess he figures that he might go for the Mountain Giant right now.
And there it is.
Top deck Big Game Hunter, are you kidding me? Lifecoach getting everything he wanted here. Can he actually commit the O's as well? I don't think he can. I think he has to just go for the Big Game Hunter and probably at least 2 of the minions to face, but that's exactly what he needed. What a top deck here in game number 1.
It's most certainly going to come down here, but Lifecoach, you know, he's known for planning ahead, making these decisions. He's probably a lot of things he's considering here. After I take out this giant, what am I going to expect next? Can I deal with anything? Another giant, for example? He still has coin. What can he do with that? This is what Lifecoach is like. He considers all his options. A bit like a chess player in a way, you know. Chess players plan many turns ahead, and I think Lifecoach kind of takes that fundamental from chess players and applies it to Hearthstone.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a poker thing as well, because his background is from poker, but reading the opponent and figuring out, you know, where he's at with the game.
Also, taking more time can put into the opponent's head that you have more options than you're letting off. So he does actually commit to the board here with the Acidic Swamp Ooze and with the 4/4. So he's going kind of all in here, and an Ancient Watch, a Shadow Flame could be coming.
It has to be coming down. I can't see any other scenario here. I mean, Dethelor again is going to be very careful and think about every turn, but I think it's got to be the bottom line here.
Now, Lifecoach committing a lot to the board here. He's probably going to be a bit disappointed that Dethelor has a very clean answer to it, but this Shredder might bring out something pretty decent. You might get a Millhouse or something, which would be fantastic from, or you might get
Whirling Sapmatic, yeah.
A Whirling Sapmatic, that'd be good as well. So there's a lot of good options. He finds the Charger, 2/1, probably not the best thing. And now Lifecoach's hand looking a bit clunky until turn 7.
Yeah, I mean, he can't really go for the Keeper, can he? So I like the Wild Growth, but does he actually attack?
Oh, I don't know. Those Molten Giants are a bit threatening here. He's used a Big Game Hunter already, so dealing with an 8/8 will be a bit tough, especially without things to support it, like a board or swipes, rafts. He hasn't got any support for challenging a giant right now.
Yeah, I can't see any merit to attacking the face here. He doesn't have the burst to follow it up anyway, so I actually kind of like Dethelor's position here in this game.
Yeah, he's looking pretty strong. He's got a nice follow-up play with a giant if he wants to. He can even start taunting up some stuff, so he could play Molten Sun Fury if he wants. He can play Twilight Sun Fury, so he's got a way to protect his health from any bursts that Lifecoach can throw at him. And yeah, Dethelor's probably feeling happy about this.
I actually wouldn't mind just going for the Mountain Giant as Dethelor. He has the option of Twilight Taunt next turn. There's nothing on the board, and if Lifecoach doesn't attack, that's also an indication that he doesn't have a lot of burst or swipes.
Oh, he finds a Watcher. Is there any merit in playing Molten Watcher here to set up a big wall next turn?
I think if you are playing Molten, you have to tap and taunt the Molten as well.
All right. drops a tap down, brings up the taunt. So Dethelor now setting up a defense against Lifecoach. But Lifecoach does have that Ancient of Law. He's got some options to draw cards, and he finds an Innovate as well. So maybe you'll find something else to go with the cards he draws.
I think it's a bit excessive by Dethelor by going for the tap taunt there. The taunt is more important than Molten Giant. I would like them to maybe just taken his time and gone for something like the Mountain or Twilight Ancient Watcher, and you know, looked at the scenario of, I guess, going for a double taunt on the following turn.
Yeah, double taunt is a lot safer. Malagos? Hello? What are you doing here? This is not, you don't belong in this deck. You're in the wrong deck here. Malagos, you've got your own deck. You've got Malilock. Looks like Dethelor's trying something new here. He might be packing Soulfires as well. Kind of an extended win condition for Handlock. And I know Handlock in the past has kind of played with adding extra win conditions, like Faceless Manipulate, Arcane Golem. That was a thing for a while in Handlock. So, Dethelor trying something new here.
I'm just confused, honestly, yeah. But what this purpose here is going to be doesn't make much sense to me. You'd have to throw out so many cards, and he hasn't been giving the impression. I mean, what do you throw out for that? You can throw out, Diraxus for the Mal'Ganis, but then you're also, more vulnerable to aggro. I can't see this being really good with just 2 Dark Bombs alone. You need Soulfire possibly, or, 2 Mortal Calls even, but yeah. Dethelor is just way ahead though in this game here. There's no Savage Roar. There's 2 silences, but they won't come in that handy at this point.
The thing is, if you include a card like Malagos especially, you might have to tech in some other stuff to make him viable in the deck. Like you said, like Soulfire. So it's not only a question of what you drop to include a Malagos, what else do you drop to include the Soulfires, for example? So maybe this is just Dethelor kind of bringing a surprise factor to this deck. Maybe trying to catch Lifecoach off guard with this Malagos and maybe a Soulfire or two. So where Lifecoach may think he's safe, all of a sudden, Malagos Soulfire comes out of nowhere.
Absolutely here, but I mean, it's gonna come at a late time. Okay, Blackwing Corruptor. Wow, what is he cutting? What could he be cutting?
So is this just Malilock with Giants and?
There's no
understand.
There's no implosion or anything. Yeah. I mean, maybe Dethelor's just going to teach us, what's going on here. But
I'd like to pick Dethelor's brain about this deck.
Oh, yeah.
What did he just take 2 very strong archetypes in the meta right now and thought, can I put these together and make something that works?
I mean, did he throw out the Belcher? Is that a possibility? You throw out the Belcher and the Siphon Soul and the Mali and the Diraxus and add in Maligos, Blackwings and what even? This is just so weird to me.
I like silence here. Going to clear up the board. He's keeping the board nice and tight here. Not letting Lifecoach really get any leverage. Lifecoach actually finds the combo, but he just doesn't have anything to set it up right now.
The only scenario that I see for him doing anything here is top taking a second Savage Roar. And I think Lifecoach is going to realize this.
Alright, so you can hear about the Owl. The Keeper, not too strong here.
You could look at killing the Ancient Watcher.
Oh yeah, with the hero power, yeah, that's an option. It's interesting. I'm still a bit confused with this Malagos inclusion, and now we've seen a Blackwing Corruptor. I just want to see the list. Show me this list. Come on, Dethelor. I want to see what's going on. What's going on in your head?
Oh yeah, but now if we look at the option of just comboing right now, it obviously put Dethelor into panic. But I guess then a swipe would also work for lethal. There's 2 swipes left, I believe, but only 1 Savage Roar, so maybe that's going to be a better scenario overall. Put it on to 5.
The rope is burning Lifecoach. He's going to drop this Keeper on the Owl, and then he's going to hero power the face. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's going all out for that Savage Roar top deck.
Lifecoach is recognizing one of the only ways he can win is by getting that Savage Roar, so he's going to need to find it in the next, at least the next 1 or 2 cards. But Dethelor picks up a low feb. He can slow down Lifecoach or lock out any potential from him winning the next few turns. What would you like from Dethelor here? Maybe just a Giant?
I think Twilight Vic low feb is completely acceptable at this point. Yeah. And you can clear the board, start going to face. Even just going to face and nothing else, like, yeah.
I mean, if he drops a low fib, the 2/4 on Lifecoach's board doesn't become that threatening anymore. So you can maybe just ignore it for this turn and just push some damage.
I mean, put him down to 17 health. You have 5 minions on board and a low fib effect. Don't see you really losing the scenario.
And the rope is burning. Does he want to trade here? Seems like he just wants to go with a safe play. And then Malagos comes down, and Lifecoach is probably thinking, hang on, what's going on? what am I playing against again?
I mean, this would be a big tell, I guess, if Dethelor wasn't looking to win this game anyway. You know, if you have to go into another game with this handlock, then obviously you wouldn't want to show the Malagos, but I think Dethelor is just that confident that he does, you know, he's fine with showing the Malagos.
It's a good mind game as well. Lifecoach must be thinking, he's playing Malagos now. What does he have in his hand? Does he have Dart Bombs, Hellfires, Soulfires even? So he might put Lifecoach in panic mode here, and he might use his Force of Nature Savage Roar, start clearing up some minions to protect himself.
It's going to be something, yeah. I mean, I don't see a scenario where he doesn't wild growth here, so he might as well start with that, I feel.
Fish for a card, just fish for an answer.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, let's see what he picks up.
Azure not the worst.
Slams that Azure down, finds a Forest Sun. Not going to do much yet. He gets to clear up the Ancient Watcher though, which kind of works out, but he must be worried of what this Malagos is capable of.
But still, I just don't like the idea from that not go for low thep. I mean, you died to the well, Alexstrasza as well. You died to, you know, double combo with that, and he has 3 cards in hand already. But yeah, I mean.
So now he's setting up the low feb. He's got enough power on board to lock out any potential comeback with spells, and he can secure lethal for next turn. So Dethelor definitely looking like he's going to take this game.
Oh yeah, and Lifecoach just concedes here in game number 1.
Game number 1 goes to Dethelor, you know, the underdog of this match. One of the, I wouldn't say one of the underdogs of the tournament, but definitely one of the players who can surprise us. So, you know, Dethelor taking a strong game there with a very interesting Warlock list, which I'll definitely be checking out later.
Oh yeah.
I am curious of what's been cut and what's been added. So, Lifecoach down a game. That's interesting.
Yeah, we weren't expecting this, I guess. But I mean, now we have the Rogue and the Warrior left with Dethelor, and I feel like the Rogue is going to have an easy time, probably with the Warrior, even, you know, being in good position against the Druid, and then there's Patron Warrior. You always want to have Patron Warrior left.
Yeah, and Dethelor's got his own Patron or his own Control Warrior, depending on what he's brought. If he's brought Control Warrior, it definitely complements his lineup in kind of an anti-Patron lineup.
Oh yeah.
But if he just brought Patron instead, it's Patron Warrior. You know, we've seen what it's capable of. So they've decided on the next game now. I can imagine Lifecoach is taking some time to kind of absorb what just happened to him. You know, seeing the Malagos is a big surprise factor. I mean, we were pretty surprised when we saw it drawn. And then the Alexstrasza as well. So definitely playing towards kind of a dragon handlock hybrid.
Maybe it's like a very greedy lock, you know, that that cuts, you know, survivability and just ignores the aggro matchup. Because, I mean, do you really expect Lifecoach to play aggro hunter? You don't really, you know, so you might as well just cut out the survivability.
And speaking of which, if he was to if he managed to queue up a Warlock mirror there, and he has the greedier Warlock,
oh yeah,
ultimately the greedier Warlock should win on paper, and especially with tech choices like Alexstrasza, not using the Sludge Belchers. Sludge Belchers is a very passive card, whereas you can use a Blackwing Corruptor to be much more aggressive. So it just would have given Dethelor a better matchup against Lifecoach's handlock. And I wonder how much he's prepared, how much like work he's done on this handlock in practicing with his teammates like Hawkeye, Cypher. You know, they've got a nice lineup on Fade Karma, a lot of up-and-coming pros. So, and he said he's been working hard, so it's definitely shown it's paid off. So he definitely cues in the Rogue here, and a Harrison Jones as well. So again, Technic against that Patron. So I'm liking a Control Warrior coming from Dethelor with his Warrior.
I think it's going to be an important thing that every single game now might be close. I don't see there being a clear favorite in terms of there might be a slight edge, but it's going to be no matchup that's going to be decided before it starts. So looking at, you know, 3, possibly 4 exciting games here ahead in the series.
So Harrison Jones not going to be able to do much against the Druids. Probably going to throw that away. SI7 might disappear because he doesn't have the coin. Violet Teacher, a nice bulky mid-range minion. can prove a little bit of a problem for a Druid, but they do have Swipe available to them. They can clear up those tokens pretty nicely.
I think if you don't have the coin, you always keep the 3-drop and the 4-drop.
I saw a Farseer in his mulligan there for Lifecoach. That's interesting.
People have been playing that as well in Handlock. He's just a faster card against Hunter that heals and gives you that early board control. But with Lifecoach's hand right now, it's looking quite good for him.
Yeah, he gets that Wild Growth. Coins that are going to be able to play some turn 4 minions pretty quickly here. Like, Wild Growth, they always say Wind Growth. A lot of nicknames for it. The player who has Wild Growth in the mirror wins the match. But yeah, definitely a big boost for Lifecoach here.
When talk about his turn 1 though, I don't think this was an obvious Wild Growth with the coin there. I think there was even more merit to just waiting and going for the Wild Growth on turn 2, as he don't have the shade, but he top decks the shade. Like, how is this possible? Honestly,
it just lines up perfectly. I mean,
he's supposed to get punished when you go for a scenario where you only have what is it, 3 outs or something out of 25, 6 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's not many. I mean, there's 2 shades and a big game hunter. Generally about it. Might see a mind control tech in there, but yeah, he's not punished. He finds that shade, and things are looking good. So he gets a Shredder now if he wants it. He could Wrath. He's got a lot of options here. Lifecoach is definitely going to consider them.
Do you think there's going to be some karma for that top deck?
Okay. I see what you did there. Shredder or Wrath? What do you think?
I think it's going to be Shredder, yeah. I think there's no question. You want to save the Wrath, especially if you have an Drake. Might as well use it on his Shredder. But yeah, I think, no question it's going to be the Shredder. But in general, I mean, if you go for a coin Wild Growth, that's fine if you have the shade or you have the 3-drop. But if you don't have it, there's so few cards that are actually going to help you out. And you only have 1 turn to draw them. If you have, if you maybe have a 3-drop and a 4-drop and not a 6-drop or a 5-drop, you have a lot of turns to draw into those. When you have a lot more 5-drops as a Druid than 3-drops in general. But yeah, Lifecoach not getting punished by this at all.
Now, we talk about how Lifecoach is quite a calculating individual. He considers everything when it comes to his plays. But I can almost imagine Lifecoach just sat there at turn 1 thinking, if I coin Wild Growth, I'm probably going to draw a shade, so I might as well do it. And look what happened.
I think his idea here is to play around the possibility of Deadly Poison Blade Flurry. That's why he didn't go for the Paladin Shredder. But, yeah. Still not too sure about this, actually.
Azure Drake comes down, finds himself another Azure Drake. So playing a lot faster Druid. Sludge Belchers, Azure Drakes, they kind of, Druid lists bounce between the two depending on the overall agenda. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ragnaros in Lifecoach's list.
I actually really like Prep Sprint here from
Nat Pagol.
Dethelor,
We've seen him at least once this week, maybe even twice.
Oh yeah, I actually got him from a Shredder recently. Against Kranitz and drew, I think it was 4 cards out of him.
4 cards, wow. And this guy is not as consistent as he used to be before he got nerfed. I remember when he was like auto-included in a lot of decks because 0-4 was quite a hard thing to clear up, especially on turn 2.
You got the card like, the beginning of, at the end of your turn. Yeah, so you got an extra charge almost.
So if you drew a card with Nat Pagel before he was nerfed, you just got value out of it straight away.
Oh,
and then it had taunt. It had invisible taunt, as some people call it, because you don't want to draw more cards. So people would just clear it up. So Harrison comes down. No weapons from the Druid, obviously. So just a bit, just drop down a minion. The challenge.
But a double keeper is going to be really strong here. Just taking the initiative completely for Lifecoach. But my idea is he needs to deal with this shade at some point. So that's why I wanted to draw into something like a Deadly Poison or Tinkers.
Doesn't find any weapon buffs. Finds another sprint. Bit clunky, so he might opt the prep sprint here, start to get some cards, try and find, say, a Deadly Poison or something like that. Another prep, that's pretty decent.
The value out of the prep, though, the first one is not that much at all. You may need to sap the 5, which is the sad case for Dethelor here.
At least he has the option to sap it, I suppose. It could still be hidden if Nat Pagel didn't come out. It was something easier he could have dealt with.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to slow down the Druid at least a little bit by sapping this 5-5. And it's going to have to start again. And by then, he might draw a Blade Flurry for when he plays it again. So he might have an answer to it. But right now, he doesn't really have one other than the sap.
That's true, but you need some sort of Blade Flurry in the next few turns, because when Dr. Boom hits the table, something's got to give. Yeah.
Sap comes down, protecting himself from that shade. That ever-growing shade, already grown quite big. Now it's going to be reset, and Lifecoach actually draws another shade, but it's more than certainly going to be a Dr. Boom here.
Oh, yeah.
And the pressure is on. Dethelor here needs to find an answer. Not only to deal with the Dr. Boom, but just the board as a whole. And he finds the Tinkers, and he has a prep as well. Is it enough?
It's surely enough, yeah. I mean, he can go Violet Teacher, Prep, Tinkers, attack into Dr. Boom, and just Flurry. Clear the whole board. Get, what is it, 3 or 4 tokens. He'll get 2 bombs, which might even hit the tokens if he's lucky.
Yeah, soak up a bit of damage there. Seems pretty good to me.
Stay at 18 health if you don't get any bombs to your face. So just by this top deck, I'd actually put Dethelor in the driving seat in this game here.
Yeah, he just needs to make the play. He's probably considering a few other options here.
A lot of things to consider. Yeah, this is going to be the most important turn of the game. But he does see it, it seems to be.
Yeah, Violet's going to come down here. Prep Tinkers. Tank the Dr. Boom. Taking 7 to the face. Not very pleasant, but has to be done in this situation. Where does he want this oil to land?
Hopefully the Violet, yeah.
Lands on
the Violet as well.
Excellent for him. I think the worst case scenario for him now is that Boom bots do clear the Violet, but the chances of that are quite slim. Alright, where's he? Boom, 1-1 gone, and the face.
1-4 to face, that's a disaster for Dethelor here. I mean, it's going to come down to if he can clear the shades anyway, but he has the option to clear the Violet at least. One more mana though, and we would have had an Acid Drake and swipe.
I like to call them mega swipes.
Okay.
If you get any spell power with Druid, I remember when Druid was running Falnos and stuff, get that mega swipe. It was really good against Zoo back in the day. Swiping their board before they got some of the more mid-range options in expansions. It seems like Lifecoach is just going to commit some shades to the ball. He's just hit a Blade Flurry, so he's not as afraid of it as he was, and he's going to go face here. So he's going to be really aggressive here.
He's implying that he has the combo though, but he just doesn't have the combo. So we're looking for a big swipe turn next. But I mean, in this case, Dethelor can just clear this. You can go for a fan and then Flurry and just keep this rolling. I mean, he's going to be cleared eventually by the I guess by the mega swipe, but he will clear both of the shades there.
All right, so gonna use. Oh, he finds the deadly poison, but I wonder if he's going to use. I guess he'll keep that for later. It's a good activator for Tinkers.
Oh yeah.
So keep
for
that
anything,
for
especially. Yeah, like, I think you have to just Flurry and turn at this point. There's no one using going for the deadly at this point. You might as well wait for that for later. But
oh, he seems he just wants to push some damage here with the deadly Flurry, and he gets another token. I guess he wants to commit to the board more. But I would have liked to have kept that. It's a good activator for any combo cards. Flurry comes down, clean up these shades, and the Lifecoach is going to have an excellent opportunity here to clear the board with that Azure Drake swipe.
Maybe he figures because he didn't swipe last turn, he doesn't have it.
Oh, he finds one piece here, gets the Savage Roar. Might just be all he needs if he finds, say, a Druid of the Claw
and
next.
the Force of Nature, wow.
So he has it. He has the combo lock and loaded. He just needs that turn. Can Dethelor come back? Can he find something to help save him? Tinkers is not going to be it. He might have to sprint here. Find an Eviscerate, but even then, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I think it's almost lights out of Dethelor here. Druid's can take its first win of the day. The first Druid of the day, especially, yeah. It's been Patron Handlock, I think, every single time.
Yeah, we've had kind of some mirrored lineups from players. Players bringing the strongest lineup they feel in the format right now, and trying to get that win, secure their spot at Gamescom.
Even, yeah, I think it was 3 instances of Hunter, Patron, Handlock. Everyone except AK Wonder kind of brought that lineup.
And AK Wonder brought his Paladin, and he was so close to winning. That was such an incredible series. Even ties on 1 health. But yeah, a lot of players liking the Druid, Warrior, Warlock, Patron. But this is a Lifecoach lineup. It's just expected of him. I think we were talking to the production guys, and He asked me what lineup is Lifecoach bringing, and I said Patron, Druid, Warlock, Handlock, and he looked at the decks. He went, "You were correct," because he always brings it. You know, it's his signature decks.
Think about this: if the in this case, if we hadn't had the bomb go forward to face, it would just be 15 health, and Dethelor would take this win. It looks like.
Yeah, it's ultimately that bomb that changed the game and let Lifecoach win. So a bit of good RNG for Lifecoach there, letting them take a 1-all. It's 1-all currently, so anyone's game so far. Dethelor has Warlock. Does he have Warlock? No, Warrior Rogue left.
Yeah.
And Lifecoach has Warrior Warlock. So Patron and Handlock coming from Lifecoach. Control Warrior? Do you think it's Control Warrior? Or do you think he's going to go for the Patron?
I think it might be Control Warrior, but I think it's more likely going to be the Patron there. It's going to come down to both of the Warlock and the Rogue being favored against Patron, but the Warlock being favored against the Rogue. So I think Lifecoach actually has a slight edge right now. So it's not a good thing for Dethelor to have happened to lose the second game of the day here. But I think to note is how good Dethelor's Rogue play was. So I think if he would face a Patron or a Handlock, he would have a good chance at taking that away.
Yeah, Dethelor did play well. He had a bit of unfortunate RNG for that bomb, which ultimately cost him the game. But, you know, he shouldn't be disheartened. Like you said, he played well. He made the right plays. He knew how to answer the threats that Lifecoach was presenting. So he definitely showed some good play. So Dethelor's not out of this yet. He still has an opportunity to go through to the next round. Lifecoach coming in strong with that Druid. And I imagine he'll pick... I think he'll pick maybe Handlock next.
He has to pick Handlock. Yeah, it's good against both of the remaining decks from Dethelor. I was actually surprised he didn't bring it last time around, you know, for game 2.
Yeah, and you were predicting that he should have picked Handlock first as well.
I think so, yeah.
But he went with the Druid and it didn't work out for him. But the Druid's got the win on the board. I mean, a lot of pros have conflicting opinions about Druid in Conquest. I've heard people say it's one of the worst decks in Conquest. How do you feel about Druid in Conquest?
I think it's weak at the moment. Depends a bit on the lineups. I mean, against the lineup like Dethelor has, it's fine. But in general, there's so many counters. You have the Paladin, you have the Hunter really good against it, you know. Midlock as well, and it doesn't counter Patron that well. It doesn't counter Handlock that well. You know, you can still lose those matchups, and you can also just not draw your ramp and lose all of that. So it's not my type of deck.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I used to play a lot of Druid back in the day, but I find like Druid had a lot of consistency issues sometimes. Not finding the ramp, having really awkward curves, not being able to respond to the board that effectively because no hard removal, and relying on like set damages like 4 damage swipes, 3 damage rafts, or just a hero power. It's I wasn't enjoying Druid that much. It was one of the decks I started off with because I used to play Druid and WarCraft, so. But not in my favour anymore. But we're going into the next game now. We'll see what decks these guys have decided to bring. So, Warrior Mirror.
Ouch. That was a good one earlier, yeah.
Oh, we had a good Warrior Mirror. And this is looking like Control Warrior, so it looks like...
From Dethelor, hard countering the Patron. He cannot lose this matchup, and he probably won't.
To be fair, his lineup to cut hard counter Patron is quite accurate and quite correct because we've seen so much Patron this tournament from yesterday and today so far. And
also, you just know what you're facing against Lifecoach. You know, it's just a given, so you can make your deck against him. But I mean, you also have to face other people, so he may just go full on anti Patron. But yeah, I mean, Lifecoach is going to be playing this to near perfection, but I think he's not going to be expecting Dethelor at all to be playing against the playing the Control Warrior there.
So I'm a fan of Control Warrior. I don't play a lot of control decks. I much prefer aggressive decks and more mid-range decks, but Control Warrior is one of the control decks I lean towards. And recently, since the new Blackrock Mountain, Control Warrior's had a bit of a shake-up. It's got 2 kind of paths you can go with it. You can go very traditional Control Warrior, and looking at Dethelor's hand, it very much looks that way. But you also have Dragon Control Warrior. So which one do you like?
I actually just like hard countering Patron with it. I don't think it's a good all-rounder at all. But if you're facing Rogue and Patron, you should just like build it to face Rogue and Patron. Maybe add in some anti-hunter cards, but I don't feel like you really do need the late game. I don't like Ysera, for example, in terms of that. I just like the Brawl. I like to add Sweaters just to have the mid-game stable, and then you have the Brawls to fall back on the end.
Yeah, Ysera's a very greedy card. Control Warrior traditionally a very greedy list. Orange and Zale, they brought kind of Shredder Warriors, Troll Warriors as they called them, during Katowice and I think it was Seat Story. They were kind of piloting those decks, and they kind of fell off when BlackRock came out and Dragon Control came around, and then more traditional Control Warrior, which we're seeing now with Belchers and Ysera.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's a good matchup for Control. Can deal with a lot of the early game pressure of Patron, but also those brawls and Revenge, a new card from BlackRock, which can technically deal with Patron pretty well because there's 3 damage all around the board. What do you think of Revenge? Do you think it's a good inclusion for Control Warrior?
I think mainly because people aren't facing Control Warrior a lot. They're facing so much Patron right now. So I feel like if people had played against Control Warrior a lot, they would play around it. But people just aren't thinking about that card right now. So if you can maybe catch some people off guard right now, but I feel like, if Control Warrior got popular, it would lose a lot of its flair.
I bet Lifecoach was hoping he'd run his Druid into this Control Warrior.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just an excellent matchup for Druid. He did get the win in the end, but it's almost a guaranteed win most of the time with Druid because it's such a powerful deck and there's such a lopsided matchup for Warrior to win against that Druid. But now, Dethelor's sitting there with a good matchup against the Patron Warrior, the deck that's been almost the most threatening in this whole tournament. It's just, we've seen it do so many incredible things.
I mean, overall though, let's say that Dethelor loses this game here. He can still do okay against Handlock with this Warrior, it's not an impossible scenario, as the Warrior generally cuts the Sylvanas and adds in a second Hellfire, which is not going to be that useful against Warrior, for example. But yeah, I wonder if Lifecoach is starting to figure out something is up here.
Yeah, he's not seen anything from Dethelor, just armoring up. And as we've said before, the Patron Warriors like to take a little bit of damage to the face, just so they can get a good battle rage. But if you just armor up, it just tells you either got a really bad hand as Patron, or you're a Control Warrior player.
Oh yeah.
So Lifecoach setting up the Death Spite here. It's going to have a nice whirlwind effect. Draw some cards from the Acolyte. He has a shield block in hand, so he does have ways to draw without it. But the Battle Rage is going to play a big part here. He's going to be able to draw at least 2 cards if he gets a whirlwind effect off.
I think the main thing is though, can Dethelor establish a board here and have the Brawl to fall back on?
Maybe he's running double Brawl. Something I have seen recently. I was actually caught off guard by it in a tournament recently where a guy had double Brawl, and then when I went into my handlock into his double Brawl Control Warrior, I was even more worried then because I had to deal with 2 Brawls as handlock as well.
Oh yeah.
So maybe handlock being popular right now, Patron being popular right now, double Brawl may be a viable option. But we see 1 Brawl in his hand. Fished that out from the Harrison.
I actually want to mention one thing. That's the, I guess the Harrison coming down here. In this case, we look at Lifecoach, and I think maybe Dethelor should have considered waiting with the Harrison. I know it's awesome to Harrison and Deathbite, but I was actually speaking with Nyman, who's a Control Warrior expert, and he talked about you wanted to rather Harrison the second Deathbite, because the first one generally maybe gave him a few patrons, got a board going, draw some cards, but that wasn't as important as the kill Deathbite, the second one where you go for the frothing combos, So at least on his advice, it would be better to wait in this case,
Yeah.
Not go for this.
And not only that, Dethelor is not exactly behind at the moment. He could have had a Sludge Belcher there, and the Sludge Belchers could challenge the Death Spite and the minions on board. So he would have had to sink that Death Spite into the Sludge Belcher. But now he gets to draw more cards, not only with the Inner Rage and the Battle Rage, but he gets to trade quite nicely into this Harrison. Second Armor Smith coming down just before he ends his turn. Alright, so Dethelor here, he has an option of a Sludge Belcher. And that's about it, really. Unless he wants to Acolyte armor up, so an Acolyte can start challenging these Armor Smiths. And he'll start drawing some cards.
But yeah, the Belcher coming down now. Looking at the Shield Maiden possibility here, Fiery Works is drawn for Lifecoach. He has some options here, but it's just gonna be an uphill climb. I feel like. I think to note though is gonna be the in the late game. It's gonna come more down to the frothings than ever the patrons. As the patrons are just kind of slow. It's the same as the Control Warrior. Whereas yeah, you have a scenario where you get a few patrons out, maybe deal 10, 12 damage is, and then he just gets brawled.
Oh. So looking at the...
Having some minor technical difficulties, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're just trying to figure out a problem we're having here. So Lifecoach is on the turn here. He can start drawing cards with another Battle Rage if he pleases, but he still has to deal with his Sludge Belcher. Has another weapon sitting in... Well, he has 2 weapons sitting in hands. He still hasn't found any pieces to his combo yet, which is a bit concerning for him, because he's got kind of all the little bits and pieces that help the combo, but he hasn't got the major things like the War Song or the Patron, so it looks like he's going to Battle Rage here and try and get... He finds the Patron, finds another Patron, doesn't find the War Song though.
In general, think about how important the second death spread is going to be. You know, like the first one, always going to kill. You know, Belcher, get a few draw off, maybe trigger a Patron, but the second one, yeah. Without a second death spite, you can't really finish off the Control Warrior, and then you just win as the Control Warrior. So a slight misplay, in my opinion, from Dethelor going for the Harrison earlier, which sounds weird. Harrison and death spite might be a misplay.
Yeah, but it's all about timing, though. If that death spite doesn't have any major effect on Lifecoach winning the game, and he looked like he was lining up that death spite to draw cards. So the more important death spite is going to be the one that sets up the big patron turn, which is, like you said, the second death spite. But as you said, you advise have a professional Control Warrior. He's probably played this matchup a lot of times and has a few opinions on it, and it sounds correct to me from what I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So just Shield Maiden coming down here, build up some armor. He's got some shield slams sitting hand ready, so he can deal with kind of anything that comes down. This Sludge is going to protect him from the War Axe, not letting him chip down that armor. But Lifecoach is building a lot of armor himself. But ultimately, armor again with Lifecoach is not going to... I don't think it really matters, because if he's going to lose, it's probably going to because he lost his patron board, and then the big heavy hitters of definitely going to come down, like the Alex, the Ysera, you know, the big late game minions, and having so much armor, if he's behind, it's not going to make a difference.
It's kind of fun to consider that the Control Warrior has less armor than the Patron Warrior at this point. But yeah, I think, you know, Dethelor is way ahead at this point. I can't see him falling too far behind. He has 2 brawls for the backup. It's going to have to come down to a huge frothing turn, and with an Emperor, which Lifecoach hasn't drawn yet.
Drops the Belcher, playing defensive. That's all he needs to do here is just hold off, wait till a patron turn comes down, and then he has 1 brawl to deal with the first patron load, and then when the second patron comes down, he has the second brawl to deal with it. So Dethelor, you know, his hand is ready for any patron nonsense that's going to happen, and Lifecoach is committing a patron here. Spawns his first patron trading into that slime. We don't see... We're going to probably see an Inner Rage. Yep, an Inner Rage comes down. So we start to develop a board here, but he doesn't really clear anything that much. Oh, well, he clears the... Sorry, he clears the Sludge Belcher. But I think this 5/5 is going to sit around unless he decides to use the Axe. And if he does clear, like, this patron turn is so lackluster to some of the patron turns we've seen earlier in the tournament stage. So Lifecoach deciding whether he wants to clear this 5/5. He's got a lot of health to play with, but protecting the War Song is quite important, I imagine, if he wants to continue his momentum.
I think he probably should. Depends if he's playing around Brawl or not, but yeah, I mean, now we can just see Dethelor go for a cozy Brawl here, you know. Does he want to attack first? Probably does, right?
Clear the War Song?
I could see that, yeah. I think the Patron is more important than the War Song, though,
well, if you hit the... Well, I don't think it really matters. If you hit one of them, Brawl, whatever survives, you can armor up Shield Slam, and that clears the board. And if he's really lucky, he keeps his Armor Smith. Golden Brawl coming out. Let's see who lives. So I imagine... Oh, it looks like the War Song commander. So armor up Shield Slam, and the first patron onslaught is dealt with. So Lifecoach is going to have another patron turn coming up when he starts drawing into it, but...
I mean, at this point, yeah, you need the Emperor, you need, you know, okay, he has the Frothing right now. Preferably needs a second Frothing. He needs a War Song, he needs another Whirlwind, you know. And he also needs to not lose the Death Bite. So there's so many things that Lifecoach needs to do, whereas Dethelor just needs to keep going like he's been going right now, and to secure a win this game.
Let's have a look. Well, Lifecoach actually has here. So he has a Acolyte, he has a Patron, and he has a Throbbing. So he hasn't really got a really strong turn 9. You know, maybe set up a Death's Bite, maybe play an Acolyte, or maybe just get this Fiery War Axe out the way. Start chipping down some of that armor, but Dethelor is going to be able to drop a Ysera this turn with at least 29 health. So he's going to be healthy, and he's dropping the Ysera and putting a threat in front of Lifecoach.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking he has to go for the the fireworks first, as if he equips the Deathbite, it's going to have to be a closer, you know. You can't miss out on the second Deathbite and not kill your opponent in this matchup here, but yeah, not sure Ysera is even the right call.
You drop a nice bulky 4/12 minion. It can trade into a lot of the Patron stuff. I've pretty much all of it apart from the Thorison. It starts drawing some more cards from the Dream deck as well, so you might find a Ysera's Awakening, which is would be an excellent Dream card to get. It just gives him another way to deal with the Patrons. But it looks like he values gaining some health here, maybe drawing some more cards.
I think he agrees with me, because at this point it's so likely that he just has an Execute and can just deal with this every 1 mana.
But he executes the Ysera. It's unfortunate. You get the Dream card, but Control Warrior has so many other threats. Maybe you can bait out and execute here, but I very much doubt it. Something's going to get executed eventually. I guess you have to... Depends how much he values his Ysera over, say, a Grom or an Alex. Well, how much value did you put Ysera in this matchup?
Not very high at all. Actually.
So playing Ysera may have not been that bad, actually, then. Maybe.
It's more the tempo and the mana that I value instead of the Ysera. But
okay.
The card itself is not very important. Actually, wouldn't mind if it would be Shield Slam that Acolyte of Pain. But now we have at least the War Song, so we need to keep on going with this draw. It's not impossible that it will happen. In case he needs to start with attacking into the 2/2, see what he gets, because he needs to get the Emperor going before he can really threaten Dethelor.
Looks like he's going to line that right up. Drawing a card, finds another Whirlwind, doesn't find the Emperor.
Just needs Emperor right now, yeah, and then it's really set. I can't imagine what he's going to go for though. Maybe just attack into the Acolyte and then turn.
Very passive play from quite an aggressive deck, but you know, he hasn't got a lot going on other than that. And patience is something Lifecoach has plenty of, so
oh yeah,
it wouldn't be uncharacteristic for him to go for such a play. 8 cards in hand as well. He's got 7 cards left in deck, so he's not that far away from the Thorison. It is coming. Just how soon? If it's the bottom card of his deck, it's going to be tragic.
I mean, still, he was behind from the get-go. He needed 5 or 6 cards. You know, he's been drawing an important combo card every single turn now. Got the Frothing, got the Warsong, got the Whirlwind. You know, it's only 1 left, so you know, if he gets a 4 out of 5, you know, it's not too bad, I guess, in that scenario. And he can go for something here with this combo. I mean, yeah, he can do a lot of damage with the Frothing, Warsong, and double Whirlwind anyway without the Patron. Better to have the Patron, it would be threatening lethal, but just without it, it's shaky.
Is Ysera good this turn, would you think?
It's better, but still.
Do you really want to feed him Armor Smiths for the Patron combo?
I would want to activate the Deathbite, actually, get that going, maybe. Look at having another turn, next turn with other Gromas or some Armor Smith, but Ysera is not horrible. Yeah. You want to get rid of the 2/1 for sure, though, trading in.
Oh, throws at the execute here. Wants to keep this 2-1 alive. Lifecoach's Deathbite isn't active right now, so he's not going to be able to clear this up with the Whirlwind effect from the Deathbite. Just yet. He's going to need to swing another turn. So this Cruel Taskmaster is going to actually have to eat something like from other than the Whirlwind effect because it's not available. So both Armor Smiths come down here.
And the Thorison is drawn.
And there he is, Golden Thorison.
Again, yeah.
I've seen a lot of golden cards from Lifecoach, but Shield Slam, not the Shield Slams. Bit disappointed. If you're going to have an all golden deck, you might as well get the Shield Slams done, but doesn't seem interested.
I guess it's not the regular one in Patron anymore. So maybe he just started out with a standard Patron deck, all in golden, and then, you know, went from there.
So maybe that's a new addition to his Patron deck. Maybe he's trying something out. He's been trying something out recently.
I think it's likely even, yeah. What do you think about Shield Slam in Patron Warrior, though?
I don't know. I don't like it. I prefer for those cards to be no mishes, slams, for example. I just want to draw cards. I'm not too worried. Faster I get the combo, the faster I win most of the cases, unless you're playing Patron Mirror.
Oh yeah.
When you're standing off for ages.
This is getting a bit threatening here. Yeah, like, there's no taunt available for Dethelor, so he needs to be very careful at this point. He can kill the Emperor quite easily, but maybe he may need to just go for an Acolyte, start drawing some cards. He has the Brawl to follow up with any AoE here from Lifecoach, but yeah, this is getting close. I can't stress how important it was for Lifecoach to draw that Emperor. He's getting every card he needs here, turn after turn, and it's really looking good at this point.
Oh, the Ysera is coming down now. Going to be able to execute as well, so we can save the Whirlwind effect as Deathbite if he wants to for that Grom when he's ready.
He must have a minimum amount of cards on his side, so amount of minions on his side. So
and he finds the Awakening as well.
Ouch.
So not only does he have Brawl available to him, he has Awakening as well, so he can clear a Patron turn pretty easily. So if Lifecoach commits to this now, he's going to either need to kill him, or he's just going to lose his entire board, and it's going to be Dethelor's game to take.
This is probably lethal. I don't think it's lethal. What do you think?
I don't think so, no. He's going to gain some armor here. He's going to gain 2 health. So yeah, I don't think it is. Unless Lifecoach sees something we don't. Maybe he just wants to... He's seen the first Brawl, he's seen the Brawl. So maybe he's thinking now, alright, Brawl's not a concern now, he's got rid of that, he can commit to this. And this is why he's going for it. Wait a minute.
Really nice sequencing here from him. Are we seeing something beautiful happening? I don't think it's going to be lethal though. Yeah.
Wait, has he got lethal?
No way. It's lethal. Lifecoach, are you kidding me?
What?
What a legend, honestly.
And it is
wow.
lethal.
The sequencing on that was just perfect, and he started immediately, didn't he have to... Wow.
Looking at that hand and looking at the board state, I wouldn't have called lethal on there. It looked like Dethelor was just a little bit out of reach, maybe not much, but just a small amount. And especially when he gained armor from the Whirlwind on the Armor Smith, it didn't look like a bit lethal, but Lifecoach's math is better than ours.
I mean, like, his idea was to go only once into the Armor Smith and then kill it with the Whirlwind instead of going twice into it and getting extra patrons. Then he attacked one into the Ysera, just to get that 2 extra damage on the Frothing, because he's going to get more full board patrons anyway. And all of those details, just, you know, it's 2 damage there, it's 3 damage there, and it was so close, and he actually had it. I'm really impressed.
What impresses me most about that turn as well is calculating the maths and the sequencing as fast as he did. He had a minute 50 seconds to make all those calculations, and I don't think I would have been capable of doing that, to be honest.
Probably not. I think the thing to do is he was so far behind, he needed to go for it anyway, you know.
Do you think he went for it blind, or do you think he worked it out? I think he worked it out.
I think he probably worked it out, yeah.
I think he worked it out. So an impressive game number 3 there from Lifecoach. It blew us away. We were talking about how much Dethelor was far ahead. He had everything he needed. Second Brawl. Ysera's Awakening came from Ysera. And all of a sudden, Lifecoach goes, actually, I'm just playing Patron. I'm going to win.
I don't want to say twitched that when that happened, actually, when we figured that out lethal. Like, wow.
It's incredible. So we're going to game number 4 here. Lifecoach 2-1 up. And it looks like Dethelor is going to queue in his Warrior again. So we're going to have Warrior versus Handlock. It's going to be another slow game, I imagine, unless unless the Handlock gets a lot of early momentum that the Warrior can't deal with. So, yeah, that's incredible play from Lifecoach. Wow, blew me away there.
We should be here for a while, though. Control versus Handlock, it's going to be, especially with Lifecoach playing, it's going to take a while, I think.
All right, so it begins. Lifecoach, Dethelor, Control versus Handlock. Get comfortable, guys. Get a drink, you know, get some snacks. If you're going to be watching this game, you want to be comfy.
I don't even know what to say. This is going to be exciting, though. 2 brawls in the Handlock.
Oh, this is the problem I encountered last time I played in a offline event. Didn't expect second brawl, and the second brawl just destroyed me. And then I had to queue hand lock up against. I think no. I'm sorry, I'm lost. No, I won the game against second brawl. But I had to queue hand lock up against it. It was my last deck, and I just couldn't beat it. It was just, it was really tough because I was so afraid to commit too much to the board. I needed to bait out the first brawl, which I did. But after that, I was just afraid to commit to the board, and he managed just to whittle me down. So double brawl is going to probably play a big part in this this matchup.
I think an important thing to talk about is the Siphon Soul. If Lifecoach cut that, a lot of people do cut that, but I keep it myself for the Emperor and for the Isera. Also a lot of Dota Boom turns where you don't have the BGH, but in this case, I think it's going to come down to that a lot. If he does have a Siphon Soul, he can deal with the Isera. If he doesn't have a Siphon Soul, RCO can deal with the Isera. Because generally the Control Warrior is slightly ahead because he has cheaper removal. So, might be important here. But no 4-drop for Lifecoach, so he's not getting as lucky as last game at least.
See a Ragnaros as well. Considered a little bit greedier, but we see the Farseer, so we were talking about how the Farseer helps deal with Hunters a little earlier, and he finds a Giant off the top there, so he's going to start building this board here, building a bit of momentum, but Dethelor has an instant response to that.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about no 4-drop, but of course it's top decked, yeah. But I think that may have even been the play of the tournament, at least so far from Lifecoach, in that the ridiculous lethal, well played to him.
I mean, we saw a really good lethal from Taj, but it was a bit more obvious because there was a lot of minions on the board on Savic's side, but...
Yeah, he was like 17 over or something, and there was minimal sequencing there.
Yeah.
But this had you know, well, look to me at least as you know, complicated sequencing, and it was so close, you know. There's a few damage back and forth, and this wouldn't have been lethal. We
weren't convinced at first as well. We were watching it going, nah, that can't be lethal, right? And all of a sudden, Lifecoach surprises us with it. And this is why he's one of the best players in the world right now. He's just excellent player. Being able to do stuff like that sets you apart. That's the next level. From kind of a mid-tier to high-tier pro to a world-class player. Being able to make those decisions and being able to spot lethal like that. A lot of maths need to be done, a lot of sequence in order, which you've got to get down and do while the rope was going down as well. It's just fantastic play.
Oh yeah, but now Lifecoach realizes that this is going to go to fatigue most likely, so he would rather kill a 4-2 than deny draw, because he figures, you know, the warrior's going to draw all he needs anyway. He can have a full hand, so if he has 9 cards or 7 cards, it's not going to matter.
And you mentioned fatigue as well. Jiraxxus, you know, getting that weapon, and we know Dethelor's got a Harrison, so...
Generally, though, people actually cut Jiraxxus for Ragnaros, so you might not be seeing the Jiraxxus from Lifecoach at all. And that might be very important in this game. But now, we're looking at probably a Thorson from Lifecoach after the turn 5. I actually wouldn't mind just seeing a Shield Slam here, a Shield block here from Dethelor.
And he's got Ragnaros, he's got Dr. Boom. He's got a lot of good things there that can be forced on, so it's going to be a really nice turn for him. And Dethelor roping here, not too sure what to do. I'm expecting a shield block here maybe, or maybe setting up the Death Spite. Seems like he values the Death Spite a bit more. So if he does drop a Forest-on, or if he does drop a Sludge Belcher, for example, he's got an answer to it ready.
I mean, he has the Execute lined up, so you can go for a lot of things next turn. If there's a Thorson drop, he might not even need to execute, I think. But the Emperor seems just so obvious here. Wonder how long Lifecoach is going to take, because he has to figure it's the play to make.
A very quick decision here from Lifecoach.
Quick Lifecoach turn. I think majority of the players just insta play the Emperor there, but
took a few moments and then thought, yeah, that seems right.
Oh yeah.
So he's got Execute, he's got Shield Slam, he's got the weapon. A lot of ways to deal with this right now.
He's got 4 weapons most likely in the control wars. He just wants to keep cycling them, you know.
So he has both brawls in hand ready.
Not good at this point. You want to use that maybe turn 9 the earliest.
Another thing to consider as well, Lifecoach has only seen 1 brawl, right?
Yeah.
So there's no evidence to suggest that Lifecoach actually knows he's running 2 brawls. So this could be the moment where 2 brawls come in handy, where they catch him off guard, where he commits too much to the board after the first brawl, and then all of a sudden the second brawl comes down, and things start looking a bit bleak for Lifecoach from then on. But we'll have to see where things go. So the rag hits the face. I'm pretty sure he wants to hit the 5-5 there.
That is true, yeah. I mean, damage to face does nothing at this point. He has so many armor mechanics anyway.
Moving forward here, he can execute if he wants by running the Acolyte in, but it does leave... Unless he draws something to line up on 6, so for 6 mana, it's going to seem a little clunky. You might just use the Harrison here. Oh, finds a Death Bite. That's not too bad. So he can now set up the extra Death Bite if he wants, but it looks like he's just going for the Harrison Jones. Get some more minions down on the board here, and can test whatever Lifecoach throws out. Maybe better at Shadow Flame? Who knows?
I wonder if Dethelor actually knows that there's going to be a rag instead of a Traxxas. You know, he figures, okay, if there's a rag being played, there's going to be no Traxxas, so I can play the Harrison.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Unless he's running rag and Jiraxxus. But like you said, people have been sticking with one or the other. See what he says. So we got a Sludge Belcher. He picks up another Giant here, so it's looking pretty good. He's got some Taunt Activators. He's got a Shadow Flame. So Lifecoach just have a lot of options to deal with any threats that come down from Dethelor. But Dethelor also kind of in a similar situation here. Has a lot of options to deal with threats. Double Brawl, Death Spite, Shield Slam. So this is why it's going to be a slow game. It's going to be quite reactive. They're going to be reacting to each other's plays quite frequently until either fatigue comes or one player runs out of resources and the board is overwhelmed. Lifecoach is going to rely on Giants more so, whereas Dethelor's going to rely on like one heavy hitter, which is going to generate in tempo, maybe like card tempo with Ysera or Dr. Boom.
I feel in general, you know, Dethelor's going to know this deck, you know, backwards and forwards. You can know every single card here in Lifecoach's deck, because he generally doesn't change it that much. So yeah, I mean, I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't know that that Lifecoach generally doesn't want to play the Jiraxxus in this deck and plays the Ragnarok instead.
All right, so Dethelor. Interesting. Where can he go from here? So armor up, Shield Slam, trade one of the minions to the Dr. Boom. That clears him up, but he may find another way to deal with this. Life is something he can use at his expense here as well, so maybe a weapon into the Dr. Boom is another option if he wants to save that Shield Slam for later. But yeah, this is a tough match for both players, I think. They have to play it perfectly.
I feel you don't want to extend another minion to the board in case of a Shadow Flame. So yeah, I actually wouldn't mind just Shield Block and killing the Dr. Boom like that.
So if you Shield Slam here, where do these two 5/4s go? They don't go to face, surely?
No, I think you drop an Hammersmith and trade both of them into the bombs.
Okay.
But I'd first go for the Shield Slam though.
Oh, double Hammersmith coming down.
Alright.
Might be able to soak up some of the RNG. He had an unfortunate run with these boombots when in the road game, actually costing him the whole match.
I actually like this thing more. It's more likely that the bombs won't hit something important, and he'll get more than enough armor anyway. Unless it's going to be hitting for 4 to face, but...
And both bombs actually clean up 2 minions as well, so Lifecoach actually did get some decent RNG. He took out one of the more threatening minions, and you know, it took out an Armor Smith, so that's kind of like the middle, well, probably a bit better than average.
Oh yeah. But at this point, you have to worry about Taskmaster and Grommash here. Lifecoach does. I think I kind of don't mind the Moltens at this point, but it's a bit risky though.
8 mana Moltens, yeah, like you said, a little bit risky. He might set up a bit of a taunt wall here. He does have 2 Arguses at his disposal. No Sun Fury has been played yet, so he may feel that he needs to commit a bit of defense just to protect himself from the Grom Taskmaster, like you said. Well, yeah. Grom Taskmaster not just yet, but... Oh, he finds the Taskmaster, speaking of him, but on turn 10, that will be something he'll be thinking about.
Oh, yeah. But I actually wouldn't mind this Dr. Boom, but that's going to be weak to Shadow Flame. May need to trade in to something. Maybe killing the Belcher and then dropping a Dr. Boom. Wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, plays around the Shadow Flame a bit more, because he doesn't have these 2 minions getting taken out by it. And the Dr. Boom alone may not be enough for him to want to commit.
Even possibly throwing out the Brawl here.
Brawl would be a good bait.
Yeah.
Brawl would be a fantastic bait, actually. As far as we know, Lifecoach doesn't know he has 2 Brawls, so if he throws out a Brawl now...
he has to figure, I think, though. You know, if you bring Control Warrior to a matchup, you know who you're facing. you would generally assume that it's going all out for the counter.
Brawl comes down. Perhaps a bait. Maybe he just thinks it's the best line of play here.
I think one thing to note though, I would have probably run the 5-3 into the Belcher. So if the Belcher is alive, I can Taskmaster that anyway. But he goes for the Brawl and the Deathbite. This is well played, I think, definitely.
And he does threaten lethal with a Grom Taskmaster Deathbite as well. So he does put something else into Lifecoach's brain. So he's got Brawl's been used. Can I commit to the board? Does he have Grom? Does he have lethal? So a lot of things to think about for Lifecoach here.
That's 16 though, I think. I think it's 16 if you go for the Grom.
Oh yeah, 16. Sorry, why was I thinking? Like, for some reason I was thinking you get some extra damage from somewhere, but he's at 16 now. So
maybe in the rages as well.
I was thinking of something else. My apologies. So he's actually at 16 now, so he has actually threatened him. So we can play a Molten. Does he have a Sun Fury?
He has a Defender only. Yeah.
That
can go for Molten Defender. That wouldn't be too bad. I think in general though, Lifecoach is just ahead at this point. You know, he has this more draw, and the cards that are left for Dethelor are kind of dead. They need to see Alex Strasser for 9 mana, and it's just, you know, compared to how easily that Lifecoach can get his 8/8s out, it's just not going to be enough.
Alright, so still a lot of health on Dethelor. He's not bleeding too much yet. So he has time to draw some more stuff from his deck, maybe find some more answers of Lifecoaches. Would you like to see a Dr. Boom here? I don't know if I'd just like to see a Belcher. I mean, trying to make him commit to the board a little bit more.
So we talked, caught up briefly with Dethelor before the match. He said he was very grateful to play in this tournament. He expected the event to be perfect and he'd be blessed to play in the line finals in China. So a very humble player with his chances there. He expects tough matches, but is looking forward to the weekend. So yeah, definitely goes to say like how nice of a guy this is. He's not getting cocky. He realized that Lifecoach is going to be a tough opponent, but he's going to enjoy the event anyway. Yeah,
he has respect for Lifecoach. And so he should. Lifecoach is a player of world-class standard. And what's nice about these up-and-coming players, especially when they are quite humble and they're grateful for opportunities. You know, these opportunities don't come for everyone. There's a lot of players in Hearthstone, a lot of competitive players. So being able to have an opportunity to go to Gamescom and even go to China, you know, he's grateful for that, and I appreciate that from him.
Oh yeah. I think looking at the board here, there's some options to just running into one of the bombs. Just looking at
Lifecoach going ham here. He just doesn't care. Just smacking him in the face. Just trying to get some damage on the board here. Dropping that Sylvanas.
It's so expensive though, you think about it.
And the Shadow Flame's gone. And he steals the Dr. Boom.
The thing is, yeah, like you spend the Sylvanas for a Dr. Boom and you almost give the Shadow Flame away for free. I don't know about this. I think Brawl actually may be the answer.
It'd be nice if Dethelor had to execute, because then he could just take out the board completely. If he brawls now and the 9/9 sticks around, it's very unfortunate for him. Oh, yeah, but it's a risk he kind of needs to take, I think.
Might have been Taskmaster first, possibly.
Yeah, it increases the chances, or decreases the chances of the 9/9 sticking around.
But that will also, I guess, not give him an activator for Grommash later on.
That's true. He does have a Belcher to follow up after the Brawl, so he does have some form protection. And he does have 5 damage from the Deathbite. So Brawl comes down.
I think it's, good because the alternatives are so horrible in terms of class or something like that. But, yeah, the 3/4 survival, that's, you know...
That's a good target.
Fair enough, yeah. Probably doesn't attack in.
Weapon clears it up, and the Belcher comes down, building a little bit of protection. So... how many Mountain Giants does Lifecoach have? 1 left, I think?
I think it's 1 left, yeah.
But he also has a Molten as well. I'm pretty sure we have an Execute left from Dethelor as well.
It's more with the draw though, yeah. Like the Handlock is just more consistent with the draw than the Warrior. That's just becoming obvious here in terms of, I think he has to go for the Ancient Watches or Phoenix. He's using 2 Brawls. At this point he knows I don't have to play 1 Brawl.
Brawl is gone. I can commit to the board as much as I want. And to be fair, Lifecoach actually didn't suffer that bad to double Brawl this game. He could have found himself in a lot worse situation if he had committed too much to the board.
Oh yeah.
Silence coming down on the Sludge Belcher, so just trying to threaten some damage to the face here. Ysera comes up off the top. Could find something helpful there. Maybe Ysera's Awakening, or maybe an Emerald Drake's. Nice bulky minion challenge some of these minions.
I kind of prefer the idea with the Earthy Ring than the Owl. I mean, why rush the Owl right now?
We still haven't seen a Sylvanas from Dethelor either, so that's still something that might crop up later. He's got another Owl in hand though, so maybe that's why he thinks the Owl's fine.
But I mean, you can go for it later though. You aren't afraid of the 1-2. It's more about denying the taunt, I feel like. You can set lethal better with a 3-3 on the board, I feel. Unless you're thinking about making Dethelor, play defensively. Maybe that's the idea. Freaking him out.
The mind games are whirling. What's going through these guys' heads? This is one of the things I really love about any kind of competitive game in our sport is the mind games. What signals do they give the players? What do they trick them into believing?
Oh yeah.
Druids are very good class for doing that, especially with combo. If you make them believe they have combo, they might play a bit more defensively. But that's what I really like about competitive gaming in general. So the Molten Giant does go down, another threat taken out with that Fiery War Axe. And another Giant comes down. Wow.
Yeah, it seems to be an easy call here. Just depending on what the follow-up is going to be. I actually like running the Owl into the 2-2 and just healing up with the Earthen Ring, but I'm interested to see if Lifecoach agrees there.
He does have the option of keeping that Owl alive if he decides to use a Sun Fury though.
Yeah.
Just get a bit more momentum on the board. Whirlwind is something that Control Warriors are not generally running as much anymore. It used to be almost a staple in Control Warrior back in the day, but they don't feel it's as necessary.
It was played more when Paladin, the mid Paladin, was more rampant, but now it's being cut almost exclusively because of the patron, so people just throw that out. But actually, yeah, would rather, I guess, throw away the Owl than the Dark Bomb.
And it looks like he's going to do that, line up the Owl to take out. Oh, he actually goes for the Sun Fury. So yeah, he wants to keep board. He wants to put more pressure here, and he's not far away from lethal here. With that Dark Bomb, he most certainly will have it.
I mean, can he defend this? I don't think he can. I don't think he can. I mean, yeah, I don't see a scenario where Dethelor survives to the next turn.
Unless he armor up, shield slams one of the 2-1s. But that just seems suboptimal.
It's
But
still
there's a
lethal.
Hellfire. Yeah, there's still a Hellfire in hand.
So yeah, I mean, a Lifecoach looking like our I guess, third semi-finalist here of the day.
Sarah comes down, it's not going to come out. And Dethelor knows, thrown out the well play to Lifecoach. Well played.
Well played to Lifecoach. I mean, yeah, like he played phenomenally in this series. Outclassed Dethelor. Dethelor didn't play bad at all, but I'm just saying, like, Lifecoach played on another level. And I think with how Lifecoach played right now, I would be very surprised if Hawkeye had a chance, or if Maverick had a chance. Although they are also excellent players, it's just, you know, beyond the level of Lifecoach is just beyond anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would say that was probably the best performance of a player in the whole 2-day event so far.
Yeah.
You know, the patron game was exceptional. His druid game was really good. That game there with Handlock was excellent as well. Double Brawl didn't actually make much of a difference in the end.
Yeah.
So Lifecoach will be going, well, he'll be going to the next round, and you'll have either Maverick or Hawkeye. Again, two more newer players coming into the scene. Experience might be the thing that takes the qualifying spot this time. I mean, Lifecoach showing that his experience and his performance is on point.
But in terms of the new players in the scene, I think Maverick and Hawkeye, the two people everyone's looking at right now as the hottest up-and-coming players in terms of that. I mean, Maverick has been doing well at every single event he's been to, without question. There's been no event where he doesn't perform. Hawkeye, you know, did great at CN versus EU in China. He did great at DreamHack Summer. He did great at Divinity. Every single event seems to be just going his way. So I think if a new player is to beat Lifecoach, it would have to be of either one of them, though.
Yeah, I think Hawkeye maybe has a bit of an edge of experience, especially because he's had some international offline experience. And anything you can get, one thing you gain from traveling to events is you learn, like, not only more about the game and more about your play, but you learn how to handle pressure more. Because if you put in high pressure environments, that experience, next time you're in that high pressure environment, you might have learned not to be so nervous or make misplays. So people who went to BlizzCon last year players like Green Sheep and Mr. Yagut and stuff like people played in that event. They gained a lot of valuable experience from that event, even if they didn't win it. So I think Hawkeye, if out of Maverick, out of those two players, I think he has the edge here in this next game that's coming up.
Yeah, I guess we'll be right back with that series after a short break. Yeah.
So yeah, if you'd like to find out more information about the event, you can visit the website just below me, and also you can go onto Twitter, where you can have at WCA Europe, and also use hashtag WCA 2015. We'll be back very shortly with the two up-and-coming players, Hawkeye and Maverick, in the spotlight right now. Which one will win and which one will face Lifecoach?